Oh, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. This is Kathleen Gage with IBPSA, and I have to officially say we are on air. I forgot that a couple of days, and I think that's why we
I
dropped a few
know.
times. I think that was the problem on a
I
universal
do too.
level. Yeah, there you go. And today I am really excited with our featured expert. But before we introduce Jamie, what I want to do is I want to remind you to put in the comments where you're from. Have you signed up for the conference? And we'll give you the URL very shortly, but I'll tell you what it is. It's petcareconference.com, petcareconference.com. And I got to tell you, the registrations are rolling in. We are just, amazed at it's unbelievable. It's just unbelievable how amazing this is. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Stephanie.
Hey, good morning. I guess for most people, it's still morning or just turned afternoon, both to my friend Kathleen and my new friend, Jamie D'Amato Migdal. Hi, welcome to our dog and pony show today, Jamie.
I would rather be nowhere else in the world than right here.
Well, we aim to have a little bit of fun while we're on here and keep it light and really kind of get to know you and what you do and what you're going to be bringing to the table at the IBPSA conference. So tell me a little bit about your organization. Where do you, and sorry, before we do that, if you are watching live right now, we're going to mention it a couple of times. We are going to give away a $50 Amazon gift card courtesy of Permatech Flooring and Walls by the end of this session. So if you're on right now, make sure that you stay on because you have to be on the line to win. So anyway, Jamie, now that is out of the way,
that's a big
where are you from and what is it that you do in the pet care industry?
Where am I from? So I'm from Chicago. I live here now, the lovely city that it is. And what do I do in the pet care industry? Well, Steph, that's a big question because I feel like I do everything in the pet care industry. I've been in the industry since 1991.
Wow.
I know, right? So I started out working in shelters, Park District Zoo, so just sort of animal husbandry and pet care overall. And then in 95, I started my first dog walking and pet sitting company and then just developed more businesses from there, became a dog trainer, started a dog training company, the multiple locations in the Chicagoland area. It sold those companies and then moved into educating professionals because one of the things that was always apparent, people want to work with animals and they have no idea where to start. Even today, even when there's a lot of resources, people are they want to get out of their cubicles. Obviously, today is a whole different story, but historically, people want to live out their dreams, whether it's a midlife crisis issue that they're trying to solve for, or whether it's job market issues, whatever it is, people look to pets as being their salvation. I mean, I do as well, and I have my whole life. And so we started putting together, really comprehensive framework for people who wanted to pursue a career with pets. And we developed an academy program. It's called Canine Link back in 2008, I think. And that program, Canine Link, became FetchFind. And FetchFind is the online version, essentially, of a complete nose to tail, soup to nuts, pet professional education platform. And that's really, I think, in a nutshell, what FetchFind is today. We are here to help, support, educate pet professionals, and then the audiences that are attached to them, such as pet owners as well.
I think that's phenomenal. I really do. I'm going to share my story in a few minutes about how I stumbled across FetchFind Inc. and how it kind of changed my life as well. But so you're speaking at the conference. You're leading a group.
I am a roundtable, which I'm really excited about. I feel like that to me feels so interactive and so much more in service. So I'm really happy when Carmen asked me to consider that as a venue or as a format. It's like, I'm full all in on that. So a roundtable about what to do next.
Well, we were talking about that before we actually went live about how things are so uncertain right now. The only thing that's certain is uncertainty and how people have to pivot. And you were talking about the fact that you've pivoted in your business. I know I have in mine. I know that Stephanie has in hers. I mean, it's kind of like, yeah, you know,
Right.
so what I want to remind people of, first of all, is sign up for the conference at petcareconference.com, petcareconference.com. That's our high tech. You like that, Jamie? That's real high tech. I mean,
actually
hey,
think it's
you
brilliant.
know, it's funny because at my age, a lot of people my age, they say, oh, I don't understand technology. So I thought I will accommodate the market for those people who are a little older, or a lot older in my case. What I'd like you to do also for the people that are in the chat, go ahead, somebody put in $50 Amazon gift card, because we are going to give away a $50 Amazon gift card to one lucky winner who's on the thread. So tell us where you're from. Have you signed up for the conference? If you have, yay. If you haven't, when will you be doing that? Because we don't want to wait until the last minute. No procrastination here. But let's talk about pivoting. What have you done, Jamie, in your business specifically to pivot?
Well, I've pivoted so many times. I just realized I've pivoted so many times up throughout my career because I keep on starting businesses, which are just pivots from the previous business. So that was an aha moment. Thank you for that. I appreciate that, Kathleen. I don't know where like that just came upon me. So I think the entrepreneurial spirit comes into play when I think it's synonymous with the word pivot. I think that in order to ideate around what's next in times of uncertainty or otherwise, it's about digging deep into that entrepreneurial flame, however much you've stoked it over the years, however much you believe in it, however much you consider yourself an entrepreneur or not. And that's the place in which to start, which is, how do I identify with my inner thinking and my inner ability and my ability to think limitlessly? And that's what a pivot all comes from, limitless thinking. And again, I really, these are all unprepared remarks. I feel so inspired by this moment to think like that. So thank you. So our pivot, you know, listen, at the end of the day, my customers for the last 4.5 years since FetchFind was a company servicing the pet business professionals, our revenue comes from people who are servicing pets. And we know that since March, that has not been the case. Most of our customers, their businesses are unfortunately have been impacted anywhere between 30 and 99 to 100% as a decrease in revenue. And it's heartbreaking. And that's not obviously what we're going to focus on today. But, you know, as we saw that happening, obviously our customers who we never had any issues with sales and revenue, we were always very well positioned and always growing. We saw that change very quickly. So back in March, when this first happened, we looked to some business plans that I had put together back in 2018 about what the future of FetchFind could look like and how we can grow and how we could be more useful. And so I dug those out. And so what we're doing now, as opposed to charging companies money for what is the difference making between being a hobbyist and a professional, which is education. So what we're able to do now is we're able to provide our education for free. So you can get a subscription to FetchFind for free. There's also a paid, it's called Forever Free. There's also FetchFind VIP, which is a little bit more of an advanced solution at $12 a month. So you can put your employees in, get dashboard reporting, analytics, things of that nature. But the point is, our pivot came when we realized that in order to really support the industry, and in order to really help the industry rebuild, we could not be making money off of our clients anymore. They needed to keep every penny they had.
I love what you said about the difference between a hobbyist and a professional is
Right?
education. Oh my gosh, you hit the nail on the head there, Jamie, because the reality is that's what the conference is all about. Petcareconference.com. Go there right now, sign up so that you can actually differentiate between being a hobbyist and a professional. And, you know, I think all of us who are in business right now that we felt the impacts of the pandemic. I mean, there's no doubt about it. I don't know anybody in any industry that has not felt the impact. And yet what's interesting is the professionals are the ones who have the education, they have the training. I was talking with Stephanie about this yesterday, where in the difference between those of us who are pivoting and picking ourselves up, brushing ourselves off, masterminds we've belonged to, trainings we've gone to,
Yeah.
roundtables that we've gone to at conferences. So I really can't emphasize enough the distinction between a hobbyist and a professional is the training that you get. So let's not mess around with that. Let's be very direct and real about it, that a professional invests in themselves. So with that, I'll turn it back over to Stephanie and Jamie.
Well, yeah, you know what, and I wanted to take just a second to share. I shared this with Jamie right before we went live, and I think that it's worth kind of saying again, which is my own personal story as it relates to my profession in pet care, and my story as it relates to my involvement with FetchFind. Because first of all, the fact that the content of that education is completely free for pet care professionals, for pet parents at this point is absolutely mind-blowing for me. And I cannot thank you enough, because I stumbled across FetchFind Inc. Well, it must have been right at the inception, about 4.5 years ago. Because I was scrolling through my Facebook at one point and I saw this thing come up about PAC certification, the Professional Animal Care Certification Council. We had Carrie Campbell, the chair of PAC, on as a guest last Friday, and she spoke about the importance of independent third-party certification. So I stumble across this in my news feed, and I realized that the deadline to register is only a couple of weeks away, and the testing window was only going to be about 5 weeks from where I was. So I looked at the syllabus, what was going to be, what I was going to be tested on. And I said, okay, you know what? How can I get as much information and as much learning and education in the shortest period of time? And there were 2 things that I did that did that. By the way, the education that I got as a result of this allowed me to pass the PAC exam at the provider level. So I was the first group to take the exam and pass.
That's amazing.
And the 2 things that I did was, first of all, I joined the IBPSA. So I had access to their hundreds of hours of webinars and their videos on geriatrics and puppies and daycare and all of that kind of thing. And the second thing that I did was I subscribed to FetchFind Inc. And I went through all of their husbandry courses, their canine courses, their feline courses. I purchased every single educational course from FetchFind Inc. that was available at that time. And now it's completely free. So I went through all that. I took all of my notes from, my study notes. I typed them all up. And even to this day, I still circulate, like, here were my study notes that I took when I went through the FetchFind courses that I did, so that they can now go through it. It was life-changing for me. And I shared that with Jamie earlier, because I don't think we share those feel-good stories enough in our industry. Right. But, I look at, Carmen and the team at the IBPSA has changed my life. Robin Bennett and Susan Briggs of the Dog Gurus have changed my life. And Jamie D'Amato Migdal and FetchFind Inc. has changed my life. So I cannot even say thank you enough to the high quality education. And yes, hobbyist and professional. And then we take it one step further and say, are you a certified professional? Have you done the exam to become certified in our industry to raise the bar where it should be?
I like that. And Jamie, can you give us the web address where people can find the information? We want to make sure that we really give you a shout out on that.
Oh, I appreciate that. Yeah, it's fetchfind.com. Just like that.
Fetchfind.com. Okay, I encourage people go there, sign up for the free training, and be sure you also sign up for the conference. It's petcareconference.com. Again, here's our high-tech URL. Let me do it the right way.
We could start doing PowerPoint things, like bringing it in. We could do the swirl.
Well, I've got my cup for today. It's got all my little puppies. Every day I have to show you a different cup. I'm going to have to go out and get more cups. It's like running out. People can send me cups. I will take them. But yeah, this is, it's interesting because I think we need to change the title from one thing is certain uncertainty to the difference between a hobbyist and a professional. And, it always amazes me when people look at people like Stephanie or Jamie or myself or Carmen, and they go, oh, you're so lucky. And luck is when opportunity and preparedness meet. Right now, you have to prepare. Thank you. Thank you. You have to prepare. She's going to show me a sign. It's like, innovation. The best way to predict the future is to create it. There you go.
There you go.
So create your future. I mean, I really can't emphasize this enough because I look at how much I've invested in my own professional development. And seriously, had I not done that when the pandemic hit, I would have shut my doors. I mean, I got a big hit in my business, but what's interesting is I reinvented myself because of the training and with what you're offering, Jamie, what IBPSA is offering, you're able to reinvent yourself. So what would you say, Jamie, is the number one way that a person can reinvent themselves during these very interesting times?
Wow, that's a really big question. You reminded me, and I'll come to that one second, but you did remind me of something, which is that, a lot of the IBPSA members have FetchFind as part of their membership. And
Yeah.
if that is a different, I want to just say, I had the chance to say this in public, that's a different subscription. That's an IBPSA driven, branded, everything subscription, very different content than what we have on our website, and that will continue to be that way. So, and Carmen and I are working on that, but I felt like it was important to say that. Because
Okay.
folks
and I do want to mention a few people that are on the line. Linda Lobo says she doesn't think she qualifies for the gift card. You're eligible. Anybody who's on the stream right
You're
now, I
watching.
don't care where you're from. Jim Royal, thank you so much for posting about the gift card. Be sure you post so that we know that you're here, because that's how we're going to select a lucky winner. And I think I'm going to go put a comment so I can be a lucky winner. And I have to say, I just feel lucky that honestly, I am the big winner. Stephanie and I have been hanging out for the last week and a half. We're going to be hanging out at the conference. We're the co-MCs. We're doing the breakout sessions. You never know what we have planned for the conference, but we've got Alicia, we've got Jim Royal, we've got Linda, we've got Catherine Ann Greer, we've got Elizabeth, we've got Ann Merrifield, we've got, let's see, who else? Go ahead and post in where you're from. Linda Lobo says, thank you, Kathleen, and you're welcome. And I was going to say I do take bribes, but I can't say that. That's, we... So anyway.
The other thing, if somebody's watching this and they are signed up for the conference, I'm sure that Jamie's doing the roundtable, which could eventually, or during the conference, turn into almost a best practices session, where you have Jamie D'Amato Migdal telling you or giving you some best practices that she's learned in her career, which is priceless as far as I'm concerned. But what we are very interested, especially Jamie, she's very interested in what kind of topics you'd like to see her discuss during the roundtable session at the conference. So if you are registered for the conference and have, I really think that staff engagement should be discussed, or I really think that positive reinforcement training should be discussed, or I think that, leadership should be, type those in the comments, because Jamie's going to go back to this after the fact, take some and do some research and background information on some of the topics that you are bringing up on this live session today. Whether you're watching it live or whether it's after the fact, it doesn't matter. Type it in the comments what you'd like to see discussed at Jamie's roundtable session at the IBPSA conference.
Thanks for saying that, Steph. And I feel like that's exactly what certainty and uncertain times is. It's about being really flexible and being really present, and also like sort of saying what you need in the moment, which I'm opening myself up to for the roundtable in any way that I can. So
I love that you mentioned that, because a lot of times people, they need something, but they're afraid to ask because they think, oh, if I ask, it'll show that I don't know what I'm doing. Well, that's right, because we can never know everything. We have to be willing to ask. And especially during these really interesting times, you have to ask more than ever before. So what do you want to hear at the roundtable? What do you want to hear specifically today? If you have questions, put them in the chat session, because we're open to questions. And we have Tara, who just joined us. Sandy just joined us. Let's see, that's 2 more people that have joined us. We've got a boatload of people watching today, and I really love that. But ask for what you need. Do you have a specific question for Jamie or for Stephanie? Don't ask me any questions, because I may not have an answer. It's like, I'm just here reading the feed. That's my job.
No, I would love to have some questions, as I'm sure just having access to Jamie at this point, just so unregulated, is fantastic, because I know you're so humble. You're sitting there going, I can't believe Stephanie's saying all this, but you've changed my life, and I can't say enough. And once again, I went through all those courses, and when I got that email that came out from FetchFind a couple of weeks ago, I sent it to my staff saying, you now have access completely free to all of FetchFind's programs. And I went back and enrolled in a couple more online courses that weren't available, 4.5 years ago when I took mine. So I'm still doing the FetchFind program and absolutely love the simplicity, not of the information, but that the platform is so intuitive.
Oh, you have no idea how happy that it'll make my
so
teeth
intuitive.
hurt.
I love the videos. I love the content. It's phenomenal. So if you haven't checked it out, you should. You absolutely need to do that.
Linda Lobo, who is the person who is apparently hi Linda. Linda is largely responsible for so much of what you're talking about. She was
really? Oh, good.
She was our content director for a long time and still works.
Thank you, Linda. Thank you.
Lots of content and lots of FetchFind everything. So there you go, Linda. See, look at that. You're getting like this awesome shout out.
I would like to piggyback off of what you just said about content, because one of the things you mentioned, Stephanie, is that you can go back again and again and again to FetchFinder and go to fetchfinder.com. I really encourage people to check that out. Also with the conference, you'll have 6 months of access to the content of every single session that you can watch the lives, the ones that you want to watch first during the conference. And then after the fact, you can watch for up to 6 months. And it's only $199. So go there right now, petcareconference.com, and you'll be able to watch over and over and really dig deep into your education.
So and the wide breadth of information. I mean, we have dog trainers. Yes, we have people in HR, finance, lawyers. We've got, so many different topics, whether you're in the pet care industry, whether you're a pet parent, whether you are just a professional of any kind, a leader. There's one on leadership. There's the magic of leader. We spoke with Summer Jelinek yesterday about the magic of leadership. So really, when I look at this, and that's one of the big things, we're calling a couple of people these days, and it was a pivotal moment for Kathleen. They're like, oh my gosh, these sessions are recorded. Well, that changes everything because I don't have time right now. And like, you don't have to have time right now. So all of the sessions have been pre-recorded and submitted into, this is how it's going to work, submitted into the IBPSA. The person who is speaking during that recorded session will be in the chat box live answering questions as they are taking place. Awesome. And anything that, such as Jamie's session that's going to be live there, will be recorded and be able to be viewed for playback after the fact. So yeah, you know what? You might not have time right now, although I highly encourage you because the prizes are phenomenal that we're going to.
Oh my gosh, the prizes are amazing. Well,
they really are.
A prize that we're actually giving away with the lives. Would you, Stephanie? Should I let you loose on that yet?
Okay, I'm ready.
Okay, go. Okay,
I'm ready. So yes, today, if you just joined us today, make sure that you comment where you're from or say a hello to be entered into the draw for today. Have to be here watching the live $50 Amazon gift card, courtesy of Permatech. However, at the conference, there's a whole different prize pool at the conference, but during the lives, if you were registered on September the 14th or before, you get 10 tickets into the draw. That number has been decreasing each day of these lives. So if you register today, you are going to get 3 tickets into the draw. Tomorrow you will get 2. And if you register, wait till the last minute on Friday, you'll only have 1 ticket into the draw. And what is the draw for, Kathleen? Go ahead and ask.
Well, Stephanie, I'm really, really curious. What is the draw for?
Okay, so this is what is so exciting about all of this, because just by registering for a phenomenal conference at only $199, you're going to get the tickets into the draw. The winner of this draw is going to have 1 year full access to both parts of the canine certification through the IBPSA for not only themselves, but every person at their facility. Wow. So if you're by yourself, that's $150 prize. That's still fantastic. But if you work at a facility that has 10 people, that's a $1,500 prize. I was talking to somebody yesterday one of my clients in Nashville, and they have about 20 people. That's a $3,000 prize just for registering for a $200 conference.
So
And
go
why-
ahead and register
wouldn't
now.
you?
Yeah,
Yeah,
register right
absolutely.
now. Hey, I have a question from Jim Royal, and the question is best practice on boarding HR, just lost an operations supervisor. So what would you say to that?
But me or Steph?
Either.
I would say either one of you.
Steph, please, by all means.
Jim, I do believe Jim works out at Woodley Acres Pet Resort in Indian Head, Saskatchewan. He has been a subscriber to these live sessions since they started on the 14th. I don't think he has missed one yet. I see his name come up. But here's what I would tell you. First of all, for anybody watching this, first of all, you should be recruiting or seeking talent, not just when you need someone. So I guess what I'm saying right now is you should have, if you haven't already, develop relationships with your community colleges that offer vet assistant programs or vet tech programs, because we know that there's more graduates from those programs than there are jobs in the vet industry. We should be speaking in high schools. We should try to have an active volunteer program. We should do all of that. And my session at the conference, I didn't get picked to do a Facebook Live on my session. I don't know who did that picking, but it's on employee development and succession planning. So preparing people in your organization to assume those roles later on when you do need them, and hiring not just a whole bunch of people that want to be entry-level positions, but hiring people who have aspirations and hiring people who want to simply be in that entry-level position long-term. So when you lose an operations manager, you've got to seek and find and increase your level of requirement for application. So to work here at Paw and Order, you have to either be PAC certified, or right from the onset, if you are going to work here, you have to become PAC certified within your first 18 months of employment. That's not negotiable. So I am seeking professionals who want to continue education and learning. So when you're at the loss for an operations manager, think bigger. And you know what? If I was going to headhunt anybody for an operations position, I would headhunt at hotels.
And
I spent a lot of time in hospitality, and go after your bellman manager, your front desk manager, because they are leaders in hospitality with customer service. And we can train through FetchFind, through IBPSA, through the doggers. We can train the pet side.
You just hit on something, which is the next question that came through, Stephanie. You talked about it is non-negotiable that people be certified in order to work at your facility. Okay, this is really important for people to hear. And with the conference, you get continuing education units. This is the real deal of top-notch training. And here comes a question from Tara Kraus. Question for Jamie and Steph. For my session at IBPSA this year, I'm presenting survey data, and one of the findings was that almost half the daycare and boarding operators indicated they are not considering certifying in anything new. Oh, why do you think that this is with this role, and how can we help them tackle this? I think, Stephanie, in a way, you just answered that. If you want to work for top-notch facilities, you have to be certified. And so I'm going to give it to the two of you. Why is certification so important? And how do you address those 50% of the people that say, oh, we're not going to do any more certification?
Go ahead, Jamie.
Yeah, well, I think this is very much in line with what we had been talking about earlier in our session today, which is that the only difference between a hobbyist, there's a couple of things that really delineate between a hobbyist, someone who likes animals and maybe collects some revenue around walking or taking care of those animals in their own home, and a true professional. And for me, this is really a tight line here, which is obviously there's insurance. People will say, well, I'm insured, therefore that makes me a professional. It certainly is. It's an essential component to being a professional. It doesn't actually make you a professional. A logo, a business card, being a member of an organization such as IBPSA, those are all things that you just do as part of your commitment to a professionalized industry, or an industry that's very much trying for the last several decades to become professionalized. The only real difference that we have, that we can look at, we can touch, we can talk about, that's tangible, much to Stephanie's comments just a few moments ago, it's education. It's the only thing. It's the only thing that is the differentiator between someone who has a pet care business or a pet care hobby or a pet care side gig or whatever, however you want to think about that, whether it's WAG or Rover or whatever it is, or even if it's an actual facility, frankly, and someone who understands that we have a responsibility to people and to animals and to our fellow professionals to maintain a certain level of decorum, of understanding, of decisions that we all make together as an industry that can impact future generations in this industry as well. So it's really, I really can't wrap my brain around, and I say this with all due respect, really, and I know it can sound probably a little bit critical, and I guess maybe it needs to sound a little bit critical, which is if you're not doing everything you can to sustain this industry and grow it from a professional perspective, then you're not helping anybody. I mean, there's a bigger picture. It's more than just, this is really about all of us, and this is about a full industry that's been struggling for so many years to be recognized as such. And education, certification, designation, any chance.
And truthfully, there's only one, currently, as it stands right now, there's only one third-party independent certification, and that's through the Professional Animal Care Certification Council, through PAC. And that's where what Jamie is saying is education is the only thing that makes the difference in between a hobbyist and a professional. And PAC certification is the one way that you can prove that you have the education.
Well, I was a dog trainer. I am a dog trainer. I'm still certified. I've been a dog trainer since '99. And when they introduced the CPDT certification for professional dog trainers, do you guys know about that group?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. It's born out of the same CC PAC is born out all these letters. The letters are all born from other letters, and the letters all have little letter families, and then they go on to have other little letter families. So anyway, those letters came from the CPDT, and I remember when they came out with that, I literally sat. It was the first test that they ever gave was at a APDT, Association of Professional Dog Trainers conference in Orlando in 2001, 2, something like this. Maybe it was like 2000, whatever it was. I always went to APD conferences. That was, again, education. But I sat for that very first test because I knew that was the only way that I would be able to not only do my best work and help as many animals and people as I can, but it was also a way for consumers to have some guidance about good choices. And that's really, if nothing else, even if it's more of a vanity consideration, when really, of course, it's not, because what goes into it is all real, but it's up to us to help consumers, pet consumers. It's so confusing out there in the marketplace, whether it's products or food or services. They don't know what is what. They're not going to explore PAC. They're not going to explore APDT or CPDT. But if there's something that can at least give them some understanding that there's a difference between Steph and somebody else, because this little thing that I can click on the website, that looks like she actually may be able to take better care of or be able to help in an emergency better than someone who doesn't have that. And that's really, it's all about the people, right? Working with animals, all about the people.
That data doesn't surprise me. 50% don't plan to educate or whatever. And you know what? When you look around your communities, you look around any community, 50% or better are hobbyists. I mean, this is where we're at with the pet services industry. 50% are hobbyists. They don't belong to the IBPSA. They don't, you know what? They're advertising on sheets of paper at the drugstore type of thing. So, so that number 50% doesn't surprise me at all, because as we try to navigate our way in this professional industry, it takes the leaders that go to conferences like this to step up and say education is important. And now is not the time to not go to the IBPSA conference. It's easier than ever before. You have content longer than ever before. You can share it with your staff. This is the one conference that you can take your entire staff to. So my question is just, what, at this point, if you're a leader in the industry, why haven't you registered yet? So, but speaking of registration, make sure if you're watching right now, comment $50 Amazon gift card in the comments so that we can do this draw shortly.
And we've got Sasha Lancy who just joined us, and we've got Kat Siemens who just joined us. And actually, I would say pretty soon we'll be drawing, but I want to make sure people know that when you go to petcareconference.com to register, if you're not yet a member of the organization, you can actually become a member and you get the member price for the conference. So it's kind of a double benefit. You can become a member and you can join the conference for the member price. So how we're going to pick the winner? Do you think we should pick the winner now?
I
Yes.
think so. I think
Okay.
we're
Jamie, I'm going to give you the honors of picking a number between 1 and 10. And I'm going to count down. You don't look at the comments. Just give me a number.
I can't, and
between
I,
1 and
I have
10.
no, I can't see any comments. So there's your good.
Okay,
thing.
good,
That's
good,
really
good.
the
Okay.
Line study here. I'm really. All right. So just give you a number.
Give me a number.
3.
3. Okay. 1, 2. Alicia is the winner. Alicia Shipley from New Brunswick, Canada. Yay.
I think we need to pick a different number.
Okay. Pick a different.
Okay. So that's hilarious.
She's kind of our wing person to make sure that our lives are working. So, okay. Pick another number if you would.
A whole
5.
Whole
Number
hand.
5. That would be Linda Lobo.
There we
Linda.
go. Okay, I'm happy
Yay,
with that.
yay.
And I swear, I obviously cannot see anything.
Oh,
just new.
sure.
So Linda.
No, you can't see anything, just like me. I
I
don't
think
have
I'm the
this
only one who
going.
can see the comments. And I just want to say thank you to everybody for commenting. And let's see, we have a few more people. Marie Santoli Howard is watching. Tara Cruz, Alicia, of course, is watching. Katz, I mentioned her. Thank you, everybody, for being on the call today. This is awesome.
And don't forget, we're going to our hashtag the heck out of this. Hashtag Be Inspired 2020 IBPSA. If you're watching this, please share it with your family and friends and get the word out there on how important education in pet care is. It's something that Jamie is obviously very passionate about. Kathleen is very passionate about, and I am very passionate also about the importance in education and knowing what the hell you're doing when you're taking care of people. This is not a joke. These are living, breathing, tiny, furry little souls who depend on us to know what has changed from last year to this year. And you know oh, Muffin. So, and what I say, what a conference is, do you know what you're doing? And if I had to have surgery, if I was diagnosed with cancer or something like that, do I want the person to operate on me that went to med school and had no continuing education since 1974? Or do I want to have the surgery performed by somebody who has gone to medical conferences and learned the most cutting edge techniques and the trends for today? Do I want that person performing the surgery? So I think we can all agree that we want the most up-to-date, innovative information in either the medical industry or the pet care industry. And this is exactly how you get it. So if anybody feels lectured today, that was intentional, because now is the time. If you have not registered, please invest $200 in your education to stay up to date on how we can best protect our pets, our pet parents, ourselves, our businesses, and make sure that we are operating make sure that the pets are happy, healthy, and safe when they are in our care. That is our promise to them. And we're going to tell you at this conference how to do it.
And I guess that also God, you're so good, eloquent, so passionate. I love all of this. If anyone has any thoughts about what they really want to be talking about during my roundtable, please comment. And like we've talked about, I will absolutely investigate, explore, research, and come to the session very prepared. And also it'll be a flow as well. So there'll be lots of chances during that roundtable to, sort of riff off of each other and learn from each other. And I'll help to facilitate and provide as much resource, be as big of a resource as I can for everybody.
That's
Wonderful.
fantastic. So Jamie, thank you so much for being our guest today. I have thoroughly enjoyed our session.
Yeah.
Kathleen, my God, as always, such a wonderful time to have with you.
Thank you.
Love
Thank you.
seeing your smiling face every day.
I appreciate that. And Jamie, you have been delightful. I look forward to sitting in on your session. And the fact that you say, send me your questions and I'll research it, that's the sign of a true professional. I want people to really take that to the bank, because when you are a professional, your revenues go up, your profit margins increase. And that's a reality in today's market. You have to figure out how to pivot so that your business can stay viable. And like Stephanie said, you're serving those little souls. And I know as a pet parent, I am very concerned about who takes care of my animals.
And tomorrow we have Mel Forbes from Health Technology joining as our guest. And then on Friday, we have Susan Briggs from the Dog Gurus. And then we have a special edition on Friday night at 7 p.m. Eastern with one of the lawyers who will be joining us, Sharina Anke Cole, who will be joining us Friday night at 7 p.m. Eastern. And for those who even care, which we all do, there's a $50 Amazon gift card going to be given away on every single one of those Facebook Lives. So don't forget, tune in. If you haven't done so already, scroll down on this IBPSA Facebook page, click register for conference, and join the rest of that echelon of pet care professionals who really, really give a damn.
Awesome. You guys are amazing.
It's a wrap. And now we are off air.
Off the air.
Okay.
Goodbye, everybody.
Okay.
We'll see you
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Have a great day. Bye.
Thank you, ladies.